All right, hello everybody. Welcome to episode 20 of Daniel's Den. I'll be your host tonight, Daniel. And for everybody who's under the sound of my voice, absolutely, absolutely share this great content out. We are live on YouTube, Facebook, along with Periscope and Twitter. So this is going to be some great information from Robert Kiyosaki. We've talked about these topics very often in our live events, our Wealth Builders Worldwide live events, and also with the live events that I'm always hosting, the Kickstart Your Dreams events, right? So let's jump in, and we're going to go ahead and chat about some great, great information from Robert Kiyosaki, the author of Rich Dad Poor Dad, along with his newest book, Fake. Oh my gosh, you want to get that new book. All right, so everybody on the sound of my voice, enjoy this content, and then I'll be right back in with some more details.
One of the more important lessons my rich dad taught me, he said there was four types of people in the world of business or money, whatever he said. And this here are the four different types of people, and he called this the cash flow quadrant. So E stands for employee, S stands for self-employed, small business or specialist like a doctor or a lawyer. B stands for big business, 500 employees or more, and I stands for investor. Now, the distinction here is this, is that each of these are four different types of people. They have four different tax laws for all four different types of people, and this is throughout the world. But it was my poor dad who always said to me, son, go to school so you can get a job. So my poor dad wanted me to be an employee like him. And there's nothing wrong with that and all this, except the tax laws are the worst for employees. As Warren Buffett says, he, as a business owner and investor, he pays a lower percentage rate than the employees. And many employees are having a tough time today. Not only is there high gas prices, but there's going to be higher taxes. My mother wanted me to become a doctor or a specialist or a small business person. And I said to my mom, S stands for smart. She says, got a good point there because I didn't do well in school. So I wasn't going to make it there. It was my rich dad who advised me to become an entrepreneur or a big business owner like Bill Gates or Steve Jobs, Michael Dell, all those guys who created Facebook and Yahoo and all this, or Google. And he wanted me to become an investor. So he started me playing the game of Monopoly, 4 greenhouses, 1 red hotel. So I learned to be an investor and I learned to be an entrepreneur. So the good news is, if you want to get rich, you can get rich in all 4 quadrants, okay? That's up to you. And so it was my rich dad who said to me, he says, Robert, if you really want to be rich, learn to build businesses. It made more sense to him to work hard to build a business, something you owned and something you'd pass on for generation to generation to your kids. Whereas my poor dad said, work hard. But my rich dad said, why would you work hard for something you'll never own and you get fired from right away? Again, that was the difference in values. So my rich dad's.
I like how he said that right there. He said, there's just a difference in values. So all 4 quadrants, nothing wrong with any of the quadrants. But once again, what are your values? And we'll talk about some more of that. Oh my goodness.
Suggested I learn how to be a business owner and learn how to be an investor. And that's one of the big differences. On this side of the quadrant, these people here work for security. They work for money also. On this side over here, their key value that they want is they want freedom. They don't want to have to work at a job anymore. They don't want to have to work for the rest of their lives. So the beauty of building a business and learning how to invest is very simply that this is passive income. You work hard for a few years, but possibly for the rest of your life, income keeps flowing to you. Again, the reason somebody thinks a house is an asset is because they lack financial intelligence or low financial IQ. They may have gone to Harvard or in whatever, but if you can't tell an asset from a hole in the ground, I don't know what the heck you can tell the difference of, you know? So it's really quite simply the most important word that for those of you in business or finance know, the most important word is not income, expense, asset, liability. The most important word in the English language for the rich is a word called cash flow. You've got to know where the cash is flowing. So what a rich person is doing is controlling cash flow. So if money comes from an asset into your pocket, it's an asset. So very simply, when I was 9 years old, my rich dad said, assets put money in your pocket whether you work or not. Okay, repeat after me. Assets put money in your pocket whether you work or not. Okay? And very simply, liabilities take money from your pocket. Okay? So what does a liability do? It takes money from your pocket. Okay? So the way you know you have an asset or a liability is very simply this. Let's say you're married with 3 kids and all this stuff, and you stop working. The money coming in is money from an asset, and the money going out is money from a liability. So if you happen to have a little house sitting over here, and it's sucking cash out of your pocket every month, it's a liability. And can do it. A number of years ago, I bought a $7 million commercial building. I paid for it with 0 down. And every month, after everything is paid for, it puts about $30,000 a month income in my pocket, or $360,000 a year for no money down. So that is the price of having a good education or a bad education.
Ooh, he said that is the cost for having a good education and a bad education. And guys, thank you for listening to the content. I know that the audio quality kind of shifted as the video kind of shifted to different content. So thank you for listening to the content and being focused on that as opposed to the drop in audio quality. But man, there's so much great content in there. And as I get into this, let me introduce myself for anybody who's joining brand new. I'm Daniel Higgins, husband, father of 2 amazing boys, and my oldest son made some really good music, so I had to go ahead and upload it to the very, very beginning of our slide. So we're going to be jamming out to that and leaving with that music that he created. Business management major, along with worship leader and a wealth builder. And I'm so excited about that last part because of my connection with our Wealth Builders Worldwide team. I've been able to soak in some great information, and I want to share that information as much as possible to help as many people as possible for this 2021. All right. So here's what we're going to talk about. That was great content from Robert Kiyosaki, the author of Rich Dad Poor Dad. And if you do not have his newest book called Fake, his newest book is called Fake. You really want to get that book as soon as you can. And if you cannot get the book, go on YouTube and type it in so that you can start hearing the audiobook as much as possible because he wrote that several years ago. I've been advertising and encouraging people to get that book for several years, but there's a lot of things that he talks about in that book that is happening right now because he is always ahead of term, right? Ahead of time. So let's talk about this cash flow quadrant, guys. We talk about this a lot during every live event that we have, especially when we had physical events with our Wealth Builders Worldwide team, and especially when I had live events called Kickstart Your Dreams events in Atlanta, right? And we have to drive this home because it's so important. There are 4 legal ways for anyone to create income. Okay, there's 4 legal ways. There's no other ways to create cash flow, right? And what's interesting is that on the left side of the cash flow quadrant, so you see it right there, the E and the S, right? So the E and the S, those two are in a category where you're going to exchange. You're going to exchange your time. You're going to spend your time, okay? And you're never going to get it back. And in exchange for the E and the S, so you're a sole proprietor or you're an employee, right? So in exchange for your time, you get, whatever per hour or you get your salary. But when you stop exchanging time as a sole proprietor, even if you own your own small organization like Robert Kiyosaki described, and if you're an employee, definitely when you leave the job, your income, your cash flow stops. So on the left side of the cash flow quadrant, you have to continue to exchange one of the most valuable things you have, which we don't know how much you have left of, time, right? Now, on the right side of the cash flow quadrant, that B, and he described B as big business, 500 employees, 500 people connected to a system of organizational leverage or more. And then he said investor, right? So on the right side of the cash flow quadrant, the key that really helps everyone is leverage. You're tapping into, especially if you're on the B side of the cash flow quadrant, you're tapping into a system. You're tapping into leverage. Okay. So wealth happens, freedom happens on the right side of the cash flow quadrant because those two sides, the B and the I, they lend itself to creating leverage, duplication. These are wealth building terms that you're going to want to know. And what's really good is that our gold standard partners, we are tapped into the B and the I side of the cash flow quadrant at the same time. You can operate in the B or you can operate in the I or you can operate in both. Okay. It's up to you. If you don't want to tap into the system in terms of leveraging others and connecting to a global system that's made to create additional cash flow and you don't want to share any information, you don't want to help anybody, then you can operate out of the I quadrant and take your creative income, okay, however you create your income. And thank you everybody for joining. I see people on Facebook and YouTube and all the such. So thank you guys for joining. But take that income that you have and start putting it in the I quadrant. Let your money work for you. Now, here's another big key that Robert Kiyosaki said on another video that we didn't pull in tonight. But he said something. He said, I can also be an insider. And he was letting us know with that term, because that's very, very important, that there's certain people that are in on the deal. They're in on the deal. They know about something that's happening ahead of time. He said the most important thing you want to do is be an insider. You want to know that something is happening and you're being able to take advantage of that before the general public. So let me just pause right there because what we're doing right now with Gold Standard Partners, we are absolutely insiders. So there's a little bit of extra excitement going on with us right now, especially because there's some additional things that we just launched today with MasterCard. And you want to get back with the person sharing this information with you because as an insider, especially if you take advantage of what Gold Standard Partners is doing, you can actually create additional income when somebody uses their own privately issued Gold Standard Partners MasterCard. All right, I'm saying it real slow, but it's another layer within this great business system where you can create more passive income. Like Robert Kiyosaki just described passive income. It just keeps coming in even though you're not working. So you definitely want to get back with the person sharing this with you like as soon as possible. All right. So like we alluded to, and like I mentioned, leverage. So as a well, on both sides of the cash flow quadrant, on the right side, right, you're going to be able to leverage. Okay. You're going to be able to leverage time. Now, how do you leverage time on the right side of the cash flow quadrant, right? as a business owner, when you own a system, right, that system is creating more time for you. I'll give you an example. We have amazing business partners all over the world, and they will decide to do things to create cash flow and income for themselves, right? So they may spend 10, 20, 30, 40, an hour a day building their business. Maybe they might spend 6 hours, 5 hours, right? So now that time, you're leveraging the talents and the time of someone else, right? You're tapping into that person, that entity. Then also, as a business owner, and as an investor, you want to tap into a system, okay? A global system, preferably. And what Gold Standard Partners is doing is we are leveraging and tapping into a global system. We're active in over 100 countries. So, guys, no matter what you're doing, no matter what your income level is right now, you're going to want to connect and get back with the person sharing this with you, okay? I can talk about the cash flow quadrant for a long time because it is so important to think about that. Because when you leave this stream today, tonight, this afternoon, or wherever time you are hearing this information, right? You will be participating in one of those four parts of the cash flow quadrant. You will be part of being leveraged, or you will be tapping into leveraging a system. And there's nothing wrong with either side, but you want to be on the right side and leverage a business system or leverage and have your money working for you as much as possible. Like he said at the beginning, he said you can create wealth in all four of the cash flow quadrants. It just so happens that true wealth building, where you have time freedom, financial freedom, all happens on the right side of the cash flow quadrant. So, guys, get back with whoever's sharing this information with you immediately. We have global support for you, literally global support. Okay. And thank you, Ali, for joining in. I see you on there. So, one huge thing, get the support you need. We have live webinars every Monday through Saturday at noon Eastern Standard Time and 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We just had one end a little while ago because we had live Q&A right afterwards so that we walk people through this amazing system because it is brand new. We have well over 55,000 people connected globally to our Wealth Builders family along with our Gold Standard Partners family, okay? And you'll understand what we're doing, okay? And then we have a live power call every Monday through Saturday at 10:45 Eastern Standard Time. You want to be connected as much as possible. And before I forget, my friend and business partner, Mr. Juan Martinez, does a Spanish presentation every Monday and Tuesday night, okay? So we have all these tools in place for you. And then every Sunday night, we have a live training at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you will be able to be supported in your goals and dreams to help you slide over. Use that cash flow quadrant in a positive way to help you move over to more income, financial freedom, time freedom, right? So that's my contact information right here. I want you, under the sound of my voice, to take immediate action. What do you do after hearing this information about the cash flow quadrant? You move into becoming a business owner and an investor. That's what you do. So go ahead and complete your free registration. Get back with the person sharing this information with you, right? So get back with that person. And so let me put that on the screen there. So get back with whoever's sharing this with you. You're seeing it on their Facebook, their YouTube, or if you're seeing this on my Periscope along with my Twitter account and my YouTube, get your free registration completed right there on y1income.com. We are the only business, I'm a business management major. We're the only business that I'm aware of that operates in the B and the I side of the cash flow quadrant at the same time, and you can leverage and tap into that system right away. Now, we are absolutely hands down the only global organization that actually pays you immediately in real time. You can get paid immediately. We have tapped into the blockchain technology. We have our own blockchain that does more than what a normal blockchain does. And all that means is normal blockchains, all they do is transfer crypto back and forth. Our blockchain does more than that. Okay. So you'll learn more about that as you connect with what we're doing, but including getting paid immediately and being able to withdraw those funds that you've earned immediately. No more pay weeks, no more pay months. You can have pay moments. All right. So thank you guys for your time. Get back with whoever is sharing this information with you right away.